Well, in today's video we're going to see how far I can throw an atlatl and make it stick. Let's find out.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here.
Well, with shooting my bow, I wanted to see exactly how far an atlatl would or could work. A lot of people think an atlatl is a 10 yards and in weapon, and again, it goes back to the user. I've been able to hit targets at 20 yards. In fact, Primitive Hunts took down a bison, the biggest animal in North America, with a stone pointed, not metal, atlatl that he made. So it can be done. Now, because he can do it, does that mean you can do it? The answer is probably no. But again, it goes back to, like I said, it's not the weapon, it's the person wielding it. So I'm back here at, I don't know, venturing past 15 yards, which is where I feel comfortable actually taking game with this. Let's see if I can actually hit anything with it. Alright, so now exactly where the camera's at is 30 yards, so I'll be off to the side. I will say, I was still getting about that much penetration, even at 25 yards. So, as far as does it have the power at that distance to kill, it does. However, like always, it's moving extraordinarily slow. Animal can see it coming, and all they have to do is move, and your perfect shot became a wounded animal. Also, the simple fact of I'm not hitting the bullseye, so probably not a good idea to be throwing from this distance in a hunting scenario. Target, it won't hurt it. Let's find out if I can still do it. Really thought that last one was going to make it. Let's try that again. Alright, take two. Made contact. Alright, so in closing, at least for me, 30 yards is about all I can get out of this thing. And that's not a pinpoint precise shot. That is literally hitting the target. So it was fun, but about 30 yards is all I can do. I've seen guys go out farther, 40, 50 yards, but again, they've been throwing for much longer than I have. What was interesting though is even though I was moving back, penetration stayed about the same. And I think that's due to how heavy these things are. When I shoot my bow, like in one of my last videos, is that even though I moved back with my 800 grain arrow and it was lobbing them in there, it was still penetrating close to the same as it would at 10, 15, 20 yards. I lost very little penetration. Very surprisingly, it was still punching right into the target. And I think that's due to when an object's in motion, it wants to stay in motion. Best example is what's harder to stop, a marble or a bowling ball. The bowling ball is moving slower, but it's hard to stop. The marble, if I was to roll it, much easier to stop. Now gravity is still acting upon even a heavy arrow, light arrow, or Atlatl dart. But with the heavier one, it's a much bigger arc. And think about it, when it arcs up, it's coming back down to the earth. Gravity is actually picking it up. It's getting more power. Kinetic energy and momentum are maintaining, where lighter arrows, stopping. And I've learned that even with archery shoots, when I shoot my 800 grain arrow into a target, the target rocks back and forth violently because it just caught a big heavy object. When someone shot a new bow, like a Matthews Vertex or a Bowtech or something of that nature, with a very light arrow, 300 grain arrow, it would hit and it would rock. Now, they would both penetrate. In fact, the smaller arrow would almost out-penetrate me at every angle. Every time. But my heavy arrows were rocking the boat. Now, what will that do in soft tissue? Well, in my experience, the soft tissue, they're both going to do the job really, really quickly. The broadhead's going to play a bigger factor. If he used a big, giant, expandable broadhead, he might not get as much penetration. If he hits soft tissue, he probably still penetrate all the way through, and it may or may not go clean through and into the ground, or it might just go through and then fall out the other side. However, we hit bone. That's where mine comes into play. The heavy arrows with the cut-on contact broadheads penetrate and will break bone. This fall, I'm hoping to see what one of these will do to a deer. Now, penetration is going to be hard to measure because the dart is 6 foot long. We don't need 6 foot of penetration to kill a deer. However, we do need above 6 inches. And from some of the videos I've seen is on Atlatl kills, it seems like they don't have a problem penetrating, especially at short distance. And we're just using a stick to throw a stick. And yes, I know these are not wooden sticks, but the point is still the same. So, if you like the video, subscribe. Please hit that like button, it really helps us out. And remember to always keep it heavy.